Welcome to the Gospel with the Church Fathers. Today is the Tuesday of the third week of Lent. Thank you for watching, and please share this episode with your family, friends, and on social media. Thank you. Today's Gospel is from St. Matthew chapter 18, verses 21 through 35, and the commentaries are from St. John Chrysostom, Origen, St. Augustine, and St. Remigius. The Gospel. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him which owed him 10,000 talents. But forasmuch as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. Then the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion, and loosed him, and forgave him the debt. But the same servant went out, and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence, and he laid his hands on him, and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet, and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And he would not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt. So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their Lord all that was done. Then his Lord, after that he had called him, and said unto him, O thou wicked servant, I forgave thee all that debt, because thou desiredst me. Shouldest not thou also have had compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee? And his Lord was wroth, and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due unto him. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye from your hearts forgive not every one his brother their trespasses. The commentaries. St. John Chrysostom. Peter thought that he had made a large allowance, but what answers Christ, the lover of men? It follows, Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. When he says until 70 times 7, he does not limit a definite number within which forgiveness must be kept, but he signifies thereby something endless and ever enduring, that none should think that the Lord had enjoined something great and burdensome in saying that we must forgive till 70 times 7. He adds a parable. Origen. The servants in these parables are only they who are employed in dispensing the word, and to whom this business is committed. St. Augustine. Therefore let us say that because the law is set forth in 10 precepts, the 10,000 talents which he owed denote all sins which can be done under the law. St. Remigius. Man who sinned of his own will and choice has no power to rise again by his own endeavor, and has not wherewith to pay, because he finds nothing in himself by which he may loose himself from his sins. Whence it follows, and when he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made. The fool's wife is folly, and the pleasure or lust of the flesh. That he says falling down shows how the sinner humbled himself and offered amends. Have patience with me, expresses the sinner's prayer, begging respite and space to correct his error. Abundant is the bounty of God, and his clemency to sinners converted, seeing he is ever ready to forgive sins by baptism or penitence, as it follows, but the Lord of that servant had mercy upon him, and loosed him, and forgave him the debt. St. John Chrysostom. See the exuberance of heavenly love. The servant asked only a brief respite, but he gives him more than he had asked, a full remittance and cancelling of the whole debt. He was minded to have forgiven him from the very first, but he would not have it to be of his own mere motion, but also of the other's suit, that he might not depart without a gift. But he did not remit the debt till he had taken account, because he would have him know how great debts he set him free of, that by this he should at the least be made more merciful to his fellow servants. St. Augustine. But this unworthy, unjust servant would not render that which had been rendered to him. For it follows, and he laid hands on him, and held him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest. St. John Chrysostom. Observe the Lord's tenderness, and the servant's cruelty. The one for 10,000 talents, the other for 10 denarii. The one a suitor to his fellow, the other to his lord. The one obtained entire remission, the other sought only respite, but he got it not. They who owed not grieved with him. His fellow servants, seeing what was done, were very sorry. When he owed him 10,000 talents, he did not call him wicked. Nor did he at all chide him, but had mercy on him. But now when he had been ungenerous to his fellow servant, then he says to him, Thou wicked servant, and this is what is said, Oughtest thou not to have had mercy upon thy fellow servant? Because kindness had not mended him, it remains that he be corrected by punishment. Whence it follows, and the lord of that servant was angry, and delivered him to the torturers until he should pay the whole debt. He said not merely, delivered him, but was angry. This he had not said before, when his lord commanded that he should be sold, for that was not in wrath, but in love for his correction.